What's going on, 49er faithful, 49er fan, 49er gang? It's your boy 49er Dion here back with another video. Now, definitely before we get into anything, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, turn on the post notifications so I can keep you up to date on any and everything San Francisco 49ers. With that being said, let's get right into it. I know it's been a while, man, and I haven't really reported on much. Still been a little bit of mourning because we are not in the playoffs and things haven't necessarily happened. But at the end of the day, man, we still have had some things go on. So first thing I want to get started with is definitely Robert Saleh, man. Congrats to Robert Saleh going ahead and getting that Jets job, making sure that he is able to go ahead and get rocking and rolling and be able to, hey, what's going on, Matt? And be able to take over that organization and see what he can do. Um, Yet to be seen whether he's going to, who his offensive coordinator will be for him to be able to go ahead and take things and get things done. Um, so congrats to Robert Saleh and him and his family. Congrats to the Lebanese people because that's their guy, man. You know that's his heritage, that's his people, that's where his family is from. So it allows him to be able to speak out for them, and let them know, hey, man, if I can do it, you can. You give people hope when you wind up doing something and you're one of the first to do it. So that's always a beautiful thing. The other announcements that we have is that, as we all anticipated and a lot of us wanted, the San Francisco 49ers announced that D'Amico Ryans has been promoted to defensive coordinator, and Mike McDaniel has been promoted to offensive coordinator. So this is just fantastic that we have, D'Amico Ryan's going into the defensive coordinator position because we all know that Chris Kacerek he did not want to be a defensive coordinator. That was not his thing. So we understood that. I'm very happy for D'Amico, and this is just a step forward for another African American man to be able to go ahead and possibly start leaning towards getting a head coach, job as far as that is concerned. Um, but it's definitely, something that he was probably waiting on. And he was a great linebacker. He's the reason that Fred is as good as he is. But now we have no linebackers coach. And you know what I'm thinking? I'm going to tell you right now, man, I'd love to have Patrick Willis come on back. If we could get Patrick Willis to come home and be our linebackers coach, do you understand the leaps and bounds that Fred would take with Patrick Willis as his linebackers coach? You already had D'Amico Ryans, who was a great linebacker in the league. And then you add in Patrick Willis. Like, I know that Saleh used to preach, the ferocity and preaching the violence. He would have loved him some Patrick Willis. That's all Patrick Willis did. I remember a dude try to hurdle Patrick Willis. Pat caught him in the air, put his hand in his chest, and bow, slammed him down to the ground. So it's a beautiful thing when you see that and when you know that, you have these options and these things to be able to, lean on. If we could get Pat in to be our linebackers coach, man, that'd be fantastic. Another thing, Rich Scangarello is back. He is back as our quarterbacks coach, and our previous quarterbacks coach is out of here. Um, we lost Scangarello. I appreciate that, Matt. We lost Scangarello to Denver because he was their offensive coordinator. They have let him go. Um, but hey, we will most likely remain in this 4-3 defense, and we will definitely be continually great as this continues. Sorry, y'all, that sneeze. Um, but beautiful thing is that we have those promotions to be able to go ahead and speak about. Very happy that we have promoted things in there. So just a couple of things. McDaniel joined San Francisco in 2017 after spending two previous seasons offensive assistant for the Falcons in 2015 and 16, and spending one season as the wide receivers coach for the Cleveland Browns in 2014. Um, so you have a beautiful thing, man. Um, in the promotion of those guys, on the, in the middle, and of course, with everybody coming along, I can tell you it's just a beautiful situation where we are definitely keeping everything rolling. Give me just a second here. No, that's what I wanted. I'm just trying to find some more. And I did catch Nico Suave and Jason Barrett on IG Live. And the cool thing is, um, what's really crazy is Nico Suave, aka Jimmy Ward, is definitely advocating for JV to get back. So, JV was saying he wants to come back. So it'd be beautiful for us to get Jason Verrett to come on back, to get back into the home and do things that we need to do. I would really definitely like to have him back because we don't technically have any DBs under contract. And I pray to God, pray to sweet baby Jesus, we do not, for the Lord, we do not go back and have another draft in the first round where we get a damn defensive lineman. I'm tired of picking defensive linemen in the first round. It just doesn't make sense. I understand, Nick Bosa will be back next year. We'll have him, for the full year. Hopefully he stays healthy. Um, I saw what you were saying about Grant Cohn, man. If you like to troll him, dude, then that's your thing. Um, he right now he has a lot of videos where this is all clickbait. The scenarios are outrageous. The stuff he's talking about just doesn't even make sense. And like I said, everything he's doing right now is clickbait. Um, his brother was in one of the towers during the. Oh, I didn't know that, man. I did not know that one of his brother was in one of the towers and got out during 9/11. That's a blessing, man. I did not know that. Um, but moving forward with some of the stuff that we were, talking about, playoffs have already started, man. They're in full swing. We are now into the championship round, and we have the Kansas City Chiefs versus the Buffalo Bills. And we have on the NFC side, we have the Green Bay Packers versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tom Brady is trying to be the first QB to ever play in a Super Bowl in his home stadium, which would definitely be a ridiculous advantage. Them letting fans into the stadiums if they are able to expand on the COVID-19 vaccine and get some more fans in those stadiums, man. The Raymond James Stadium would be rocking. It'll go crazy if you had that where you have that there. But we'll go over everything really quick. So in the wild card round, it was the Colts versus the Bills. Bills pulled that out barely, 27-24. Josh Allen did what he did, and we now know that Philip Rivers is retiring. People, that is correct. Philip Rivers is going to retire. No more, no more Philip Rivers, and I think it is time for him to hang it up. You see, he doesn't have the same strength in his arm. There's a lot of things going on. And he's just older, man. And it's time for him to retire, go ahead, kick back, hang with them 9 kids, and just be a dad, man. Live on his ranch and live out the rest of his days and be a good person. But shout out to Philip Rivers. He had a pretty stellar career. He unfortunately could never win the big one. That'll always be the one that, eludes him. And it's always going to be the mark on his career because he couldn't ever get to the top. But at a bare minimum, he did, have a really good career. So he'll be probably be a second ballot Hall of Famer, not a first. So the Rams had went on to beat the Seahawks. We as 49er fans love that because we like to see the Seahawks lose out in the wild card round again. They did all that work and didn't get themselves anywhere. Um, then the Bucks had wound up beating the Washington football team, and they had a struggle with the Washington football team. Washington football team was balling; they was on their head, man. But at the end of the day, Tom Brady prevails. Um, when it comes to the AFC, you have it was the Ravens and the Titans. The Ravens pulled that victory off. So Lamar Jackson gets his first W in the playoffs, and he beats out the Tennessee Titans. It just never got Derrick Henry rolling in the right direction, man. They couldn't. And that's their Achilles heel. When he's rolling and he's moving, then you automatically kill it. It was the Saints and the Bears. We all knew the Saints were going to win that. They won 21-9. Then the Browns put a B team, and I'm talking about an ass whooping on the Steelers. They beat the Steelers 48-37. That was just a crazy game, man. Seeing them scoring on defense, seeing them just doing what they were doing on offense. They were just doing things in every which way you could think of. It was just fantastic. And it was crazy to watch, man. I definitely didn't anticipate that. But, you know, it happened, man. And anything can happen. Any given Sunday, it can happen in football. So with the next week, we had moved on to the divisional round. So the Rams had to play the Packers. The Packers beat them 32-18. Handled that pretty easily. Then the Ravens went on to play the Bills. They lost to the Bills 17-3. Couldn't get the offense going. Couldn't get anything rolling. Lamar wasn't making plays and doing things that he normally does. And then we had the Browns and the Chiefs. Now I was really pulling for the Browns. I really was, man. I was praying to God that they would actually go ahead and pull that W off. But it's the Chiefs. It's Patrick Mahomes. It wasn't to happen. And the crazy thing is that Mahomes went out in that game. He's still currently in concussion protocol as we speak. But Chiefs still pull it off 22-17, only a 5-point win, no big blowout. The Bucs and the Saints was going for the Saints because my mom is a Saints fan. But what happened? Wound up losing to the Buccaneers 30-20. And now we are in the championship round, man. And as I previously stated, you know, straight up, we got the Bucs and the Packers, and we got the Bills and the Chiefs. If Patrick Mahomes plays, then you can bet it's going to be a continuously competitive game. But if Patrick Mahomes doesn't play, I expect the Bills to handle the Chiefs easily. You know, it's definitely would be a fantastic thing to see them go to the Super Bowl and actually get a W. Because the shitty part is they've been to the Super Bowl 4 years in a row in the early 90s, and they lost every single year. That's probably got to be the worst feeling in the world to hoist that AFC Championship trophy every year, and you can't get one W. That's real hard, man. That sucks. But definitely, I can see the NFC Championship being a straight up, blowout, man. As one of the commentators used to call a slobber knocker. You got the Bucs and the Pack. Man, that's going to be a hard-fought game. I can tell you why, because Tom Brady is Tom Brady in the playoffs, man. He don't play no games. It ain't like he's trying to throw to N'Keal Harry and Julian Edelman old ass. He out there with weapons. He got Godwin. He got Antonio Brown. He got Mike Evans. He got Gronk. He's got the other tight end. I can't remember his name. It escapes me right now. But he's got so many different weapons. Leonard Fournette's been running very well. They just can't throw the ball out the backfield to the running backs, period. They running backs suck as pass catchers. They're just trash. So I think they should just let them run the ball and not try to hit them in the flat, because Leonard Fournette ain't catching much of nothing, and neither is the other one. I think his name is Barber. But, yeah, man, it's definitely not going to be a big issue as far as the weather is concerned. You're right, Matt, strictly based on the fact that Tom Brady was playing in New England. He was playing in snow bowls a million times over, so the frozen tundra ain't about to hurt his feelings. He's perfectly fine because he's extremely accustomed to it by playing in New England and playing in the snow and everything like that. So that's not even a big deal for him. But, yeah, man, these championship games are going to be crazy. I think it's going to be some great games this weekend. I hope that Buffalo and everything does some of the nice, does us justice and gives us a great game, gives us a great showing. It's definitely a beautiful thing in, our world if we can definitely go ahead and make sure that, we get whatever it is that we need, and, the entertainment coming from these games, because that's basically what it is. Football is entertainment, and we love to see a great game and a back and forth, and a battle of wills to see who's the best and who's the worst, and or who can actually just who wants him, who wants everything at the end of the day. So, Martin Mayhew's title. Martin Mayhew is gone. He was our vice president of player personnel. He's a high-ranking executive for the Washington football team now. Don't know what he would necessarily be, but we're losing a lot of people in our front office that we currently had because we had so many great people, and we had to go ahead and make the promotions that we did because it would just be crazy. Um, let's see here. What? Who said that? Matt Trey, Jimmy, and Debo for Jared Stidham and Julian Edelman in the first. Uh, I don't. These people are just. You gotta once again, man. You can't believe everything you hear. These people sometimes they go so insane with their thought processes that they don't make any sense. So here's another thing, and I'm gonna touch on this because this is a really big subject in 49er land right now. Deshaun Watson. Let me tell y'all this. I'm not looking to give up the farm for Deshaun Watson. I like him. He's a great quarterback. Is he an upgrade over Jimmy Garoppolo? Yes, in every which way you can think of. Because Deshaun Watson throws for 4,000 yards on a consistent basis with a myriad of receivers most of you don't know outside of DeAndre Hopkins. We all know who Will Fuller is, but Will Fuller is the off-injured receiver who can take the top off the defense when healthy. But the key word is when healthy. So for me, I'm not looking to give up the farm. I've seen so many of these scenarios and what we give up to go and get Deshaun Watson. It doesn't make sense, people. Why on earth would I give up? I saw where they were saying giving up like 3 first-round picks, Jimmy G, Nick Bosa. Like, people are getting outrageous. If I'm giving you a starting quarterback in return, you should only be getting 1 first-round pick. I see no other reason why I should be giving you that much. That doesn't add up to me. It doesn't make sense. We all know Deshaun Watson is disgruntled and he's upset strictly based on the fact of what's going on over there in Houston. But that goes back to when that owner said that crappy shit he said. We can't have the inmates running the asylum. You knew what it was when you heard him say that BS. Now, if he wants out of there, I get it. He basically kind of controls his own destiny and he can go where he wants to go. A lot of people are saying he should go to Miami because Miami has the draft capital to give up and they can go ahead and just give up to it, which would make sense for them. And yes, it's correct. They do have the draft capital to give up. But the main reason he wants to go there is because you got a black GM and you got a black coach. See, when Houston told him, hey, you'll be involved in decision making, you'll be involved, we want your input, and then they go hire this dude from, New England to be the GM and didn't even consult with him, they rubbed him the wrong way. Now, I understand him being disgruntled about that. I understand him saying, I don't want to deal with that. I want to be my own person. I want to be able to have input. I want to feel like I'm valued in the franchise. And I'm going to tell you, the perfect person at the end of the day that gives you the best idea of someone who cares about a true franchise is Dwayne Wade. Dwayne Wade said himself, he stayed in Miami because he saw the loyalty. He saw the people that previously were involved with the franchise, with the Miami Heat in some way, shape, or form, were still there. He saw that Zoe was still there. He saw that there were other hosts of other people that had long tenure with the Miami Heat that were still around. Pat Riley's been a GM for God knows how long. It's certain things like that that kept him there. D Wade from Chicago. I'm a Bulls fan. I would have loved to have D Wade come home and stay with us. But Jordan owns the Charlotte Hornets, and Scotty's not involved, and Steve Kerr's not involved, and all of these people that were there during that that run, not there. How do you have a coach who brings you 6 rings, and then even the 2 years that he didn't bring you rings, he still took you to the Eastern Conference Finals? How do you let that coach go? Like that, those are the things that keep people with franchises is the loyalty that those franchises show to those players. Jerry Rice should be our wide receivers coach or involved in this franchise in some way, shape, or form. Steve Young should have been our quarterbacks coach or involved in some way, shape, or form. You know, Patrick Willis should be our linebackers coach or involved in some way, shape, or form. You know what I mean? Merton Hanks should be helping with safeties. We should have had, Roger Craig or even having Garrison Hurst, come in and help us with our money. Like, there are people that were there that should still be there. And that's sometimes what draws people in. It's the Eddie D. Bartolo days where you saw, yes, we had turnover. Yes, we had, all right, love you, Montana, but you got to go because we got to open the door for Steve Young and let him start doing things. We can't have him sitting right on the bench, and we know he's a great QB. You know what I'm saying? And we trade Montana away to Kansas City, and he takes their ass all the way to the AFC Championship. Tell you, I still got it, baby. But those are the things that we should have. Montana should be involved, with the quarterbacks coaches, like all these things, And yes, we have great players, and a lot of those great players are doing other things. You got Montana doing commercials. He, continually flashes his 4 rings, and that there are things that happen. So it's understanding that players will understand the loyalty and they'll take that to heart and they'll appreciate that. And that's what gives you the reason to want to be able to stick with a franchise. So Deshaun Watson wanting out, yeah, of course. Of course, man. Yeah, I can understand it. But at the end of the day, with Deshaun Watson wanting out, I don't feel like giving up everything for him. I'm not about to give you Jimmy G, Nick Bosa, 2 first-round picks, and a second-round pick for the no, that's flat out stupid and ridiculous. Why would you do that? Why would you give up so much for one specific player? And then you trading away all the players that we need. You see what happened without Nick Bosa? Kerry Hyder was our leading sack, our leading sack artist. And there's nothing against Kerry Hyder, but he's no Nick Bosa. I know I was the person that was against drafting him, but look what happened. He gave us that 1 year, and that 1 year was fantastic. Next thing you know, ACL, college, core muscle, high school, ACL. So it's all in drafting, players that will be able to stand the test of time. We lost Kinlaw for, I think, the last game or the last 2 games. Why? Knee tendonitis. Certain things go on, certain things happen. D Ford, where is he at? Nobody knows. He's still sitting his punk ass on the sideline earning a lot of fucking money. And he should either retire or we should cut him before we even have to pay his ass. That's just my thought process. It's not about me thinking about taking money out of a man's pocket, but it's just about me saying, what have you done for me lately? And you haven't. You ain't done shit. Can't barely stay on the field. Even when we went to the Super Bowl that year we ran, he was missing them for game after game. So those are the things that I'm talking about, man. It's not, it isn't conducive to us as a franchise to continually deal with players that aren't going to produce. But at the same time, if we know those players' value, why would we want to give up everything under the sun to go get one dude? If I'm already giving you a starting quarterback in return in this trade, which would be the process, basically I'd be swapping quarterbacks. I'd give you 1 first-round pick and probably give you a second and tell you there. That's what you get. I'm not about to give you 3 first-round picks for the next couple of years, and then I'm going to give you Jimmy G. And, oh, by the way, because, you're Deshaun Watson, let's go ahead and give him Nick Bosa. Or we should go ahead and throw Fred Warner in there, possibly even throw George Kittle in there. You can't trade away all the goddamn playmakers and then have one dude. That doesn't make absolutely any sense. So when you see these trade offers, people are just flat out ridiculous, and they're idiots for that. I'm not giving up that kind of stuff for Deshaun Watson. It doesn't make sense. I like him. He is a fantastic quarterback, probably top 5 quarterback in the league. but I don't see him being worth that kind of draft capital. I'm so sorry. And people can call me what they want for it, but I would never do that. I'm sorry, I'd never give it up. Doesn't make sense. So moving on from the Deshaun Watson trade, um, next year hopefully will be a great thing. I did see something that I was extremely disappointed in, and it was the Jacksonville Jaguars. So the Jags have hired a new GM. All of these candidates out here, the GM jobs, not just African American, just new guys, fresh blood. They went back to our old well, and the Jacksonville Jaguars have hired Mr. Trent Baalke himself. So they're going to suck for a very, very long time. It's really unfortunate. They picked me up, and, I know my track record in San Francisco was crap, but, seem to just keep getting a job. So, hey, I'll go ahead and do it. That is the dumbest move the Jaguars could have made. They don't have no hope of getting that team to be any better. He ain't about to make no moves in the offseason because he did not do anything in free agency. Y'all going to be stagnant as hell. Shad Khan, you're an idiot for hiring that man. You make way too much money. You are way too smart of a businessman to go out and hire garbage. He doesn't have a great track record. Look at what he did with us. How many people did he hit on? Exactly. There ain't nobody that could tell me. You know what I mean? But that's the stupid thing. And you're right, Matt. Yes, if Bill O'Brien was still there, we could get Watson for a 7th. I would throw that one up there. I didn't even catch that in the comments, Matt. You crazy for that one. Matt says if Bill O'Brien was still there, we could get Watson for a 7th and Nick Mullins. And I guarantee you that'd probably be the case. That is definitely true. You know. Matt says Deshaun Watson, the LeBron James of the NFL, like LeBron first round with Cleveland, he had no help. Just like what? It's true. It's very true. He didn't have very much help when he was in Cleveland. That's right. And Deshaun didn't have much help by the way of a running game. See, they didn't have a running game in Houston when Deshaun was there because they running game left when Arian Foster left. If you notice, ever since Arian Foster been gone, Houston hasn't had a real run game. You know what I mean? So, let's see. What did he say? We should trade Bosa for Watson to save a first because he said that we still had a top 5 defense without him. You still had a top 5 defense without him, but that doesn't mean you don't want back that player. Yeah, people are dumb. That's what I'm saying. These trade rumors about Deshaun Watson need to calm down. People are getting very extreme with him, and it doesn't make absolutely any sense. I would never want to trade that kind of stuff for Deshaun Watson. Never in life. And for any reason, period. I would rather you go ahead and work with me on a more realistic trade, but this giving up 4, 5, 6 first round picks and giving up Jimmy G2 and mortgaging the franchise just to go get one dude like this. Nah, man. I understand quarterback is the most important. I understand quarterback is the most important position on the field, but it's not that important not to go and get that dude. I wouldn't even give up that kind of stuff for Patrick Mahomes, and I believe he's probably at least the top quarterback in the league. But that just doesn't make any sense to me. Yeah, man, I'm good at impressions. I actually am. I'm fairly good at that. I can say that with all confidence. But yeah, man, it's a blessing in disguise that we wound up having this horrible year because it gives us a chance to just get back, take everything off, and continue to be, ready for next year. I do believe we have an off season. I do believe that will allow us to be able to get things going. With the rolling out of this COVID-19 vaccine, hopefully Santa Clara starts to treat us a little bit better. Hopefully Jed York goes and mends some damn fences and stops trying to buy politicians in the city council so he can do whatever he wants. so we can at least try our best to get things going in the right direction. Because right now the city of Santa Clara is trash, and we are stuck there until that lease is up. Um, yeah, I saw that James Harden did get traded to the Nets. I mean, him, Kyrie, and Kevin Durant, they should automatically dominate the East, and they should be nowhere but the NBA Finals at the end of the year. But that remains to be seen. I think Kyrie just got back today, if I'm not mistaken, for him being off or whatever his personal reasons were. But with 49er football, man, we've done so much. We've had, you know, so many great things happen for us. I see that we put Josh Johnson on like a future reserve contract. We had a couple other guys, but I'm not necessarily thinking anything big. Um, to be honest with you, man, that's a hard task, Matt. Justin Herbert or Justin Jefferson for Rookie of the Year. I'm going to go ahead and say that because he's a quarterback, Herbert most likely wins it. Um, I would have thought Justin Jefferson, strictly based on the fact that he's a receiver and he's done some things that, a lot of receivers haven't done. You know, his first year was actually very spectacular. He's the reason that they were okay with letting go of Stephon Diggs. And he stepped right in and didn't miss a beat. Although Kirk Cousins is a trash quarterback, he can still throw the ball. And Kirk Cousins is a stat patter, as I like to call it. So he definitely will make sure that he gets his receivers the ball and gets his numbers right. So you won't have to worry about that part if you're Justin Jefferson. You just won't win very many games, and you won't really win in the playoffs. But for Team Rookie of the Year, it's definitely us with Brandon Ayuk, even though he missed a couple of games due to COVID protocols and maybe a few little nicked up injuries here and there. Hopefully next year, this year is better. I'm really banking on getting, Ayuk, I agree. I'm really banking on getting everybody together, getting the full squad together, getting a full off season in, and being able to go in and just get that stuff together, man. Because we're a really dangerous offense on paper. If you think about it, even without Jordan Reed, we still got George Kittle. We still have Raheem Madrid. If we can get Jeff Wilson, we still got Jeff Wilson Jr. You know what I mean? There's ways for us to do things. And I'm going to start dropping more and more videos for y'all. We're going to go position group by position group because technically speaking, we only have one quarterback, guys, and that's Jimmy Garoppolo. So if we trade him away, we're going to have to trade him away and make sure that we're replacing him with someone who's equally as good or even or better. And most likely we're going to even forget the latter. We're going to go just better because we just literally don't have another quarterback. Even though Nick Mullins can't necessarily run around trying to negotiate things, still he's not under contract. We haven't re-signed him. We still have 41 free agents that we have to talk about and get into. And I'm going to get into that here within the next couple of weeks. I know I've been on a little hiatus, and I'm sorry about that, guys. Just been trying to handle some things, in my own personal life and getting things together and doing stuff. But I'm back. I will be back. Things are going to get back to the consistency that they used to be. And we're going to get into these free agents, man. And we can even talk free agents for next year, free agents for, a variety of other things. And we will definitely, make sure that we get into all of that because we'll talk 49er free agents. We're going to have a guest on for that. And we'll definitely go ahead and talk, free agents that we should pick up, guys that we need to bring back versus guys we should be able to go ahead and take a look at and see what they can offer to the squad. The issue that we have right now is without us knowing what the salary cap is going to be, we're going to have to ask a lot of people to come in and give us a hometown discount or give us a faithful discount and say, hey, look, man, we're going to take care of you on the back end, but this year money is tight. So we're going to need you to go ahead and let us do what we do. Let Parag go ahead and work these contracts and make them right and do whatever they need to do. And we'll hit you off with your bread later. We're going to find a way to be able to get you your money. We're going to get your paper, your yiper. You know what I'm saying? That cheddar, that cheese, that Gouda, everything. We're going to get it to you. Your rubies, your yen, whatever you want to call it. But we just need you to be able to work with us this year so we can make sure that everybody gets on the squad so we are able to be a complete team and push for that sixth Super Bowl. Because we need to get in the conversation, man. We can't keep calling it a quest for six. We need to get to six. Because if we get back to that Super Bowl, we need to make it happen. Now, one thing I did see Grant Cohn do that did kind of make it. John B, my guy, what's going on, brother? Blessings to you and the family. Hopefully, everybody is doing well. Shouts out to you and them. As always, prayers for you and the wife. Hopefully, everything is getting better and you guys are doing very well, man. And hopefully, y'all are taking it one day at a time with the emotional things that have been happening. Pray for you, your family, and that young man and his family, and then and that child is there. Um, but I nah, man, you ain't got to get into all that, man. Remember, man, we in there, we just talking matter football. Don't even worry about Grant Cohn. He's like I said, everything he doing right now, brother, is clickbait. It's all clickbait. This is just what he there for, man. Everything he do right now is going to be just flat out ridiculous. So, um, oh no, don't do that, man. Grant, because that's I don't know him from a personal standpoint. But I have seen him. That's not who he is. He's not. Don't do that, man. Because he's not. He's actually one of the coolest people, and he's actually a really really chill guy from a human being standpoint. Outside of what he does on reporting, he does that because he needs to, and that's a part of his job. That's what he's supposed to do. But as a regular human being, and no, Grant is not. He's not that person. So don't go that route. You don't want to. Don't do that because he's actually not. And believe me, I've been around some people that are closet about that. Grant is nowhere near that man. He is not that person. He is actually a really cool person, and he loves everybody. He likes all people. So don't do that. But everything in 49er country will be lovely. We will get into some more videos. Probably gonna bring my guy John B back for a couple of these free agent videos when we're getting into our stuff, and we'll have some other guests on for free agent videos when we go ahead and get into some other things. I'll probably try to bring some of my guys from the UK on. Probably try to bring Nick from the Niners, bring him on there, and see what we can do. Um, Man, the followers, bro, you got to remember one thing. I tell you this all the time, man. The followers there, bro, that those aren't real Niner fans because you have to think about it. That if you are a true Niner fan, a true football fan, and you do know anything about football, you can tell when something's realistic and feasible versus something that's just completely unrealistic and non-feasible. That's just how that works. Certain things are just dumb, you know. You, Out of everything in the world. John D can tell you himself. Nobody is trading 4 first-round picks, Jimmy Garoppolo and Nick Bosa to get Deshaun Watson. This is just idiotic. Just me saying that sounds stupid. So you do things that will enhance your franchise. Like Kyle says, they're always trying to get better at every position. Everybody understands that. But at the end of the day, you're not going to compromise your franchise and hinge it all on one dude. You want to know who did that? And it paid off to an extent, but it didn't. New Orleans Saints. They mortgaged their future to go up and get Ricky Williams. Ricky Williams paid off because he did a hell of a job his first couple of years in the league. And I remember Mike Ditka was the coach of the Saints. He wore the dreadlock wig and everything. He wanted that. That's Trip Baalke, our ex-GM. Yeah, I have no idea why they hired that man, you know. But yeah, John B said it best. That would probably be a legendary fuck up in 49er, NFL history. That's exactly what it would be. Just you don't. It, it's really hard to try to mortgage the future. If you want to get somebody like that, you know, and you're already a shit team, like when the Colts did suck for luck, they were a trash ass team. They knew they wouldn't win no goddamn games. They knew it. So why would I compromise my number one pick knowing I have a generational talent? This young man is somebody that I know I'm depending on taking my franchise for the next 10 to 15 years to the playoffs, possibly to get me at least a couple Super Bowls. Even though he wound up retiring prematurely, and that didn't come to fruition. While Luck was playing, he was always a top 10 QB at a bare minimum, most of the time, possibly top five. So that's the reason why you do that. But you don't do that while you actually have a quarterback. You don't do that while you actually have a franchise. You know that you have pieces that you're going to need to get you where you want to go. You don't mortgage all that for one dude. I don't care who it is. You know what I mean? Yeah, it just it wouldn't. Yeah, it would just be the dumbest things. You know what I'm saying? Um, Drew Brees is going to retire, Matt. Period. Point blank. Drew Brees will retire, and he's not saying it right now, but he will. It's unfortunate, but Drew Brees ain't gonna be around. I think this is last year, and you most likely will see Taysom Hill and Jameis Winston battle it out to be the quarterback of the New Orleans Saints. I don't see the Taysom Hill as necessarily a negative option. He has way too many things that he can do. We all know that out of him and Winston, that Jameis is the better passer, but Jameis also throws a lot of interceptions. Forget the man had, I think, 36 TDs and 36 interceptions. So every time you throw a touchdown, you throw an interception for it too. And if you forget, Jameis, the last year he was in Tampa Bay, what happened to him in the first game we played him? Two pick sixes, Sherm and Witherspoon, both to the house. So you just don't want to do that, man. It doesn't make anything. Um, they could, Indy could try to go for Wentz. It would make sense for them. They could, you know, if Wentz. But you got to remember, Philly's got to have a new head coach, their new regime, and everything, and figure out what they're gonna do. And if Jalen Hurts really is the guy, because sometimes when a new regime comes in, they take a look at the current roster, and some people, if you have a quarterback that's not your guy and you don't have faith in him, you will get rid of him because it's your regime, and you're basically saying to Jeffrey Lurie, I don't like what we have as the options. We need to go ahead and do this, this, and this. You know. Now, are they in position to pick a quarterback? Not necessarily, but they might. I've heard a lot of things about us getting Justin Fields. Waste of time. John V will tell you Ohio State does not produce great quarterbacks. It's just not what they do. You understand? We had Troy Smith for a small period of time. He did all right, but he didn't do anything fantastic. Troy Smith actually got fucked out of the job for the Baltimore Ravens because he wound up getting sick. I believe he had like tonsillitis or something, and that's why Joe Flacco wound up going on to start. Um, but there's not really much that we would be. Yeah, exactly. John B. Let me put that up there for y'all to see if y'all paying attention. Fam, Rivers is a hell of a guy, but he's never accomplished much more than 5-7 in the postseason. Never an MVP. Those are facts. Cannot be disputed. Period. Point blank. You got to love what Philip Rivers did, but he just never got to the top. Never got to the top. Yeah, no Buckeye QBs. Never been the one. Not gonna be one. Yeah, Kirk Herbstreit was the last hope. He didn't fan out because he wound up getting injured. But at the end of the day, guys, I will be back with more videos. I'm gonna sign off and say goodnight. Y'all stay blessed. Y'all stay safe wherever you are. Hopefully this vaccine gets rolled out so we can get back to life as normal. Um, and yeah, Dwayne Haskins. He washed out of the NFL in seconds, all because he wanted to go to a damn strip club. Like that don't make no sense. Passion Nation. Oh, okay. What's happening with you, Passion Nation? How you doing? Appreciate you coming in, man. Thank you for watching. And you have a good night as well. Everybody have a good night. Y'all stay blessed. Y'all stay faithful. Have a good evening. And the next time y'all see me, man, we're gonna be talking quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers. And I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm going to try to get two very special guests, and they're both our receivers. And if I get them, y'all will see them, and I can guarantee you this will not be an impromptu show. I'm working hard on them, and believe you me, they probably get annoyed with me, but I'm gonna do everything I can to get these two young men in here We'll have a former receiver, and we'll have another dude that y'all might know about. Just know I'm working as hard as I possibly can to get these dudes. It's not an easy task. They're busy people and they don't always have a lot of time. But I would love to be able to get them to come onto the show, spend a little time with us as Niner fans because we mean that much to them and they mean that much to us because of who they are and how they work. But have a good evening. Stay blessed. Stay faithful. And I'm out.